On the count of 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, we are live. Hello and welcome to PropTechBuzz, a new age global PropTech platform that combines media, products, leadership, and community. And in the leadership and community, we have eminent PropTech founders, PropTech buyers, and investors from across the globe. And we help matchmake investors to interesting startups also. The community today is thriving with conversations from across the globe. We have lots of channels across, topics based on AVM, residential, commercial. We also have a fundraising channel also on our platform. In fact, for today's AMA with our guest today, we have received a lot of questions from the PropTech India channel, where people from India they posted these questions for our guest today. In fact, the core principle, the core tenet of our platform is to be helpful, massively helpful to the other members in the community. That's the reason we give scores and badges to members based on how helpful they are to the other community. So we wanted to be distinctly different from how LinkedIn is. So that's a bit of news about our channel, about our platform. So if you have not joined our platform yet, what are you waiting? Come in proptechbuzz.com. It's free. Just sign up, get yourself verified, and you are in. With that, let's welcome our guest today. Our guest is Murali Krishna. Murali is a principal lead at SPYRE Proptech Venture VC. SPYRE is the largest proptech focused VC and is going to spend $100 million to help build the most promising and innovative proptech startups in India from early stage to growth stage. In many conversations that I have had with other VCs, other founders, Murali's name often comes up. In fact, he was with Kotle Patil, and he has had massive experience. And that's why I thought I came across Murali and asked him if he could be there, and he was kind enough to agree to be on my podcast. So, Murali, thanks for being on my podcast.
Yeah,
How are you doing today?
thanks, Ravi. Thanks for giving an opportunity to be part of the PropTechBuzz podcast. All good,
So, Murali,
Ravi. Yeah.
Thank you, Murali. The privilege is mine. Before we get into the meteor stuff, many people would like to know a little bit about your personal background and your transition story into working
Yeah,
at
I'll
Aspire.
I'll I'll give you a little bit a quick background. I did my MBA from ICFA. Post that, I started as a career in banking. I worked with HSBC, post that HDFC, and then in 2010 moved to manage family offices. I've been instrumental in setting up the Tapariya family office. Post that a long stint with Ronnie Screwell as family office, predominantly looking out for investment. Always the tech investment and the equity tech across the asset classes been the key focused on the family office investment. Real estate was one of the asset classes. I spent significant time, then moved a very short stint with a global real estate player called Country Garden Holdings. They were setting up shops in India. So I've been looking out for the India and Sri Lanka piece of Country Garden. And last 5 years been a part of Kolte Patil family office, where I looked at the family office on one side. Other side, it was real estate as a real estate as an angle, but the businesses which is not the mainstream real estate business, we're trying to set up an alternate real estate investment, be it co-working, co-living, drawn based project management, school operation in it, operating, etc. Being did about 7 8 different vertical transaction run those companies, and also was looking out for the group level strategy as well as the fundraising plan. And recently, this was a move to a PropTech fund, which is called SPYRE Proptech Venture Fund, which is sponsored by Venture Catalyst and partnered with Credai. And we have got 4 5 good market developers come on board as an anchor. We got the CB license. It's a Cat 2 AIF. It's a 50 million AIF with 25 million as a green shoe. That's a 75 million is the size. Focus only on PropTech investment. So the idea here is not only just providing a capital, but using the Credai network or the builder network, which we have already onboarded, where we can give a large platform to these set of investee companies, where they can help them mentor and help them to grow the business. So that was the whole idea, to create an entire ecosystem for these prop tech companies. I've been investing in PropTech for last 6 7 years for quality as well as for Country Garden, but now it's moved only to PropTech, leaving all other, the startup and all other investment side.
Got it. Very, very curious to know, but before we get into Spire, you mentioned that you have extensive experience working with family offices. Could you, I did not intend to ask this, but it would be unfair to let you go without asking this. Could you give us a sense of the family offices businesses in India? Like how many
So
professionally run family offices are today, or is it growing? What is the state of family offices in India?
so if you really see the family offices numbers, might be when I started family office in 2010, there will be less than 50 professionally run family offices, but now the numbers are more than 200 to 50. The tech boom, or the kind of exits where these promoters have happened, especially on the startup boom, the unicorns and all, that is also one of the reasons, because many of the promoters, they exited their business, set it up a family office, and there is a and now we have there are two or three forums itself for family office in India, something like an IKEA forum, Camden forum. The average members are about 100 200 each forum. It is evolving. The see the thesis, most of the family offices is running as a general investment thesis across the asset classes, across the investment opportunity. There is an opportunity that participate. Apart from that, there are certain family offices like Colte Party. When we run the family office, our first importance was something which have a real estate angle, because that's a parent business, and the business understand, the promoters understand those businesses very well.
Got it. And today, you said it was 50, under 50. Today, how many family offices must be there in India?
There may be at least 200 plus established 100 million plus family offices or more.
200 plus. Got it. And most often they hire professional help to manage this
Yeah,
as to manage the
manage.
portfolio. Is it? Okay. And then
Yeah.
is there is like, how do you qualify yourself to be called a family office? Like,
So
is there a
most of the
qualifier?
family of there is no
Yeah.
something called as a qualifier, but average when you say family office, if you see the cost side, if you want to set up a team, if it is not less than 500 800, I mean, at least I would say 100 million, the cost wise it will not be beneficial, because you have to hire a family office guy. The family office guy comes with a cost, with one or two people for the team, to run the family office. Plus we also need to pay the fees to the advisors, basically all the bankers, all the private wealth firm. So all input together, you have to see the viability. So at least 100 million is a good size for it become reasonably, you know, viable in terms of running an individual family office.
One individual family office is 100 million. Uh,
At least, so there are 400 500 crore family offices also, but I'm saying, if you say really, like, if you wanted to run it as an individual family office with all those things, at least 100 million kind of or a visibility of those sort of money.
got it. And family offices are, when they say 100 million fund, they are, all that 100 million is there, or do they also pool from
No,
other
no, they
like?
have. So there is, it's not pooled. So I'm talking about an individual family offices. This include of assets and across the, so the net worth, or whatever you call it that way.
Hmm.
It can have a little bit on a hard assets also, but you really see a family office guy comes in, plus a team, all put together, you put a cost of about 2% of management fees for the amount. So I mean, like, you proportionate, you do it, we'll get
Got it.
that.
Got it. Thank you. Thank you. Let's talk about Aspire now. So you mentioned that this is a new fund, and
Yeah, this is
only for PropTech, and it
yes.
amounts to, today it is 50 million, but it will amount to 100 in this year, right?
75 is what the number we are capped at. 50 plus 25 as a green shoe. Okay.
Got it.
The challenge here is, Ravi, we don't have enough companies to invest actually, so that's a big challenge.
Right.
The number of
Exactly.
PropTech companies, or the depth of the market is not there, where somebody raise 100 million. The raising might happen, but where we will deploy the money? So
True.
even at a 50 million, we are thinking. I mean, like, we started scouting for the transactions in the market. We found that how many transactions are there today where we can write a 5 million check.
Got it.
So we have to then come down to about to 250,000 or a half a million checks to range to a 5 million check. And
Got it.
then it comes how many transactions you can manage in a fund. So 20.
Got it.
So I don't think it. I don't think if more than 25, 30 investing companies, we are not going to have any justice to these investing companies also, because we need to help them to grow also. So there is no point of having a large number of. So 50 million, I think it's a right size, but provided if there is a global investor comes in and we have that sort of an opportunity, it can move from 50 plus 25.
Got it. So you are saying that there is not enough depth into Indian PropTech ecosystem yet. So with this kind of fund, what are you trying to achieve here? Are you
So,
trying to
so
garner?
we did it little bit, little in-depth study. So now when you see the really on the PropTech side, there are about 3,000 plus startups in the PropTech, more than 3,000 plus startups. But when you cut off all the, which was debt pooled and everything, the number of startups which you have from a series A to series, or a pre-series to series G, where there will be funding has been done, and a real target for a company, for a fund like Spire, is about 400 odd startups. So this is my target universe. Now, apart from that, there are about 2,200 odd startups, which is not yet funded, but there is a proof of concept. And we need to really get into that 2,000 startup. We have to see how many of them can really exceed, and how many, I mean, come out of it, how many of them can really get into a pure business model. And this is the whole universe. Uh, uh, of the entire PropTech. You can call it as an entire PropTech. So we have to play in between these 400 companies on first range, and then this 2,000 companies on the second thing.
Right. Got it. So there are no hard definition of what a PropTech company is, okay? Because PropTech company could exist from climate, clean tech, urban tech. It could be retail tech,
So
okay? Could you define what is Spire's core focus when you say PropTech?
the broad sector, the broad definition, what is saying, anything has a real estate element to it, or it is adding some value to the real estate or the real estate industry, then we will
Hmm.
classify it as, be it a climate tech, be it a climate company focused on sustainability, but they have
Hmm.
some sort of an element which adds some sort of advantage to the real estate industry. We will still classify that as a prop tech business.
Got it. So one of the challenges this industry faces globally, real estate industry faces globally, is lower tech adoption. Comparing to other industries, they invest close to 1 to 2% of their GDP
That's it.
into tech. Okay, that is how globally it is. In India, if it is even less, because India is
So
primary market, mostly the transactions happening, but people are only selling and buying. But technology investment is very, very less. How do you see that
So
in
for a
your
developer in India, that is for an, if you go to a developer, having a Salesforce and a SAP is called as technology.
exactly
Now,
CRM?
so the CRM, so they will, we have a tech-enabled company. You have a SAP, you have a Salesforce to manage the Salesforce team.
Right.
Now coming back to it, now if you really see the industry now, you look 5 years back or 10 years back and today, the margins are shrinking for the developer. The profitability, the margins and everything. It used to, in a market like Pune, used to work 20-25% over like maybe 10 years back. Today it's about 15-16%. That's a maximum, or touching a 20 digital space. So now the only way they can increase the margin is bringing in efficiency, which is using the tech. And now,
Hmm.
if you the last 2 or 3 years, if you see, there are a lot of changes happen. The entire sales mechanisms, the sales marketing, everything. There are a lot of tech innovation happen now. There are a lot of innovations, and a lot of startups are coming on a designing side, especially not just the interior designing, but a BIM companies has been come up. There are companies come on a smart infrastructure management. There have been a lot of startups come on a project management. So because project management monitoring and giving a real time access to the developer, that's a big challenge they used to have. And now there are companies offering through analytics the quantity of materials they used, and the predictions and all those stuff. So these kinds of things, all these builders, especially the tier one city builders or a tier 2 city builders, these
Correct.
things have been started using it. Construction technology also, there are a lot of new technologies coming, but still it is yet to evolve. But a lot of energy on a lot of businesses has come on a water management, energy efficiency management, smart IoT systems. Everything has been come on a post what do you call post delivery kind of a thing on commercial and residential. So COVID been a big factor where the developers are also realize that they can, without setting up a sales office and having a huge sales force also, you can sell building. So the COVID has proved that to many of the tier one builders, using the online, the 3Ds and the VR. And so there is technology adoption coming up, but still the market is evolving. It takes some more time uh, uh, to the but today the good part is that all the large developers, especially on the tier one, they understand that it has to change. There need to be a lot of tech innovation. There need to be a lot of startups need to come onto this stage, this industry, to help them to play better.
Exactly, because if the intent of adoption of tech is not there in the larger buyer side, okay, these startups
Right.
will always struggle. When you're talking about large developers interest, how many large developers are we talking about?
No, I'm talking about every city. You talk about a 5 to 10, uh, the grade one level. Because I'm talking about I'm talking about a 10 cities or altogether in India,
Hmm,
because this 10 cities will cover about 70% of the business. So Bombay, Pune, by between Bombay, Pune, NCR, and Bangalore is almost more than half of the real estate is covered.
got it. Yeah,
You don't need to go to do other subsidies.
got it. So with your interaction with Credai, with these builders, you are seeing that they are more and more open to tech adoption
More
from
and more
startups.
development. They are more and
is
more
is, is
development.
what else is happening to just accelerate this tech adoption? Like how are you, because you
No,
will
so
be,
one
yeah,
one
go
of
ahead.
the factors is bringing in efficiency, especially
Hmm,
on the construction side as well as a monitoring side. See,
hmm,
every builder now today, the key concern is how they can save even a penny, how they can save, and what are the methods and what are the technologies can bring in that saving element to it. So
hmm.
that's there actually.
Got it. So the lessons that founders who are listening to this conversation would be, if they are looking at ideas to build, it has to actually move the needle for either efficiency, saving money, or saving a cost, or saving time to the end
Exactly.
user, the builder, right? So does construction tech also come under this purview or not?
The construction tech always comes under this purview. But
Got it.
construction tech, apart from that, so the prefab has come, but prefab has their own challenges. 3D, there is only one company for Shasta, there is only one company from India really came forward 3D. But I've been observing, if you globally see the companies like the Cobord, and there are a lot of large 3D players. The companies, I mean, like especially in the Chinas and Denmark, they've been playing large, and they've been equipped to build a G+7 structure on a faster
Hmm.
space with a much higher durability at a good cost.
Hmm.
India, it's still we haven't tested it apart from the small, mom and pop kind of structures which has been created by one or two entities in India. So these
Right.
things. So I'm sure that going forward, these things will. So been I've been talking to one of the companies based out of Denmark, where they were planning to set up an India setup where
Hmm.
to build the 3D printing villas and it's up to 7 floor structures. You see the
Hmm.
time saving these kind of
Hmm.
structures will bring in, and
Right.
these are all comes with the reinforcements, and they come up with a good a good durability.
Got
Now
it.
something which you take 2 years, 3.5 years, you can complete that in 6 months time.
Got it.
See the cost benefit of.
Got it. Got it. I have a question that is tangential to this. So you know that tech adoption in the West is far ahead than in India, right? So there are more products, thousands of products. In fact, in the US itself, there are more than 25,000 PropTech products. Um, so
Right.
do you see? also because I also talk to a lot of them, and they're exploring Middle East and India as the next big thing to enter these markets. Okay, how do you see that? Like, how do you
So
see that happening? That foreign products coming here?
I'll give you an example. There is a company called Planet Smart City which focused on affordable smart city solutions company. It's a
Hmm.
London based, it's an Italian company based out of London. They do large number of projects in they do a large number of projects in countries like Colombia, Italy and US and all. Now in
Hmm.
2000, at the time of COVID, when I was a part of Quality Patel, we brought them into India. They come in as a development partner because they also understand here when they wanted to really utilize their technology, they have to come and become a builder first, or join as a builder, because
Hmm.
otherwise nobody is going to give them testing. So the idea for them is basically that's the entire their houses are very efficient in terms of designing, in terms of space utilization, and it's a fully equipped smart house you can call. The
Hmm.
entire township is run on a smart infrastructure management where 20-30
Hmm.
percentage energy efficiency is there. There is 20-30% less water usage is there. So on a long run, these are all beneficial for a society. So we did three projects with them. All the
Hmm.
three projects they came in as a partner, and when towards the end of the project they take over and they start implementing this their tech to it. So there are companies coming up. I mean, not like
Got it.
that actually. Well, Planet was one example. There have been
Hmm.
a lot of. So I'm sure that at some point all these the people will look India as a uh, favorable market. So the number of housing need in
Hmm.
India, or the number of housing going to build is humongous in
Huge.
India.
Exactly.
There is
So there is
no doubt about that actually.
Yeah, and as especially housing problems in the Europe is stagnant, right? So these companies will look for newer markets that are growing, and they would want
Yeah.
to come. And it's a good, healthy atmosphere then for the in-house companies versus outside companies, so that everybody is competing fairly, isn't it?
Right.
Excellent. So may I ask you, how do you, so with this kind of fund, you're always looking for good ideas, right? So how do you get deals from, what are your plans to get deals? Like, do
So
you run any scout programs and stuff like
so
that?
one of the so we are reaching out to all the funds, all the ecosystem partners where there can have a portfolio companies where we can participate in those portfolio companies. Apart from that, what we are planning is every city we are planning to run mixer events with Credai, where we will
Hmm.
call up let's say we call up 10 cities, we call up all the startups or all the founders to have a one-on-one session out there. So that's on the cards actually, to how to run that the
Hmm.
mixers events, and through the networks and through the ecosystem. So one good part is that being a builder network already on board. So end of the day, all these startups one way or the other has to reach to a builder or those ecosystem for business or for money. I mean, like, so that there is a channel which is there already. So we utilize
Got
that channel also.
got it.
Then going
Uh,
back to all the traditional players like the Gluas and Orums or HDFCs or Brigade of the world, and ask them to give an access to the portfolio.
Got it. Got it. Excellent. Um, let's also talk about what do you look for before backing a startup or a founding team. Like, what maybe your investment thesis also a little bit would be really nice to know.
See, what we are looking is, so what we have done is we had breakdown and we had gone through about 10, 15 subsectors in PropTechs which we had identified initially. So the
Hmm.
initial thesis will be run on those sectors, which include some of them sharing economy, some of them alternate investment, which is the fractional or the tokenization platform, some on the energy
Hmm.
efficiency take, some on a facility
Hmm.
management take, some on the construction technologies, etc. So this will be
Hmm.
the initial 10, 15 sectors, subsectors which will focus, because we understand that these are the kind of sectors where the highest number of companies had come and the highest number of funding also has been done. So that
Hmm.
we don't want to miss that bucket of thing. Apart from that, what we are also looking out for a good idea where there is a where there can be a validation done we can run it through a couple of our ecosystem partners. We understand a little bit on what do you really call a validation of the concept,
Hmm.
and a good setup. So obviously the first priority will be the founder. Now from a founder to the business concept and to the validation, that's what we will be looking at.
Got it. You mentioned about fractional and tokenization. Could you shed some more light on that sector? Because it's booming, but however, there is
It is,
SEBI
it is, it
regulation.
is, it is,
Yeah.
it is booming. SEBI has really come up with a regulation, but still there is some gray areas in the regulation when they call, we consider it is a mini REIT, and then you have to, so you have to put it in the MSME, the MSC, what is that called? MSME REIT, and then you have to list the REIT, and then 25% of the holdings needs to be done by the fraction. So still there is some sort of a gray area. But
Right.
what we have also seen is there are really some of the companies which has gone ahead and done the tokenization. So there
Hmm.
is a company in Bangalore which we saw selling 1 square feet. So the concept has been accepted in the sandbox in Gift City also, whether
You mean
you know
all
whether
DRX? You're talking about all
yeah, all
DRX?
DRX. Yeah, all
Got it.
DRX exactly. So
Got it.
so
Yeah.
that is if you really see buying a 1 square feet, it's not a, I mean, like, it's for an investment. I mean, obviously
Hmm.
considering the yield, etc. It's not a bad
Right.
thing once the regulation also support that. But
Hmm.
if you on the other side, hardly any guys had raised capital or done on the fractional ownership so far, or except
Hmm.
apart from PropShare and Strata, I don't see anybody who has raised a large capital or done. So I mean,
Hmm.
it's getting evolved. The sector is getting evolved.
Yeah, but I have
Might
seen
take
that
some more
some
time.
of the founders have been really frustrated with the regulatory
The
pressures.
exactly.
Yeah. So you think that this is going to resolve, and the regulators are also
It has
going
to
to.
resolve. The regulator also has to come up with a little bit more practical way. So see, I mean, when you say you wanted to hold 25% of the asset, all these are all startups struggling to, I mean, struggling to raise capital from
Exactly.
every asset. If you wanted to hold the 25% equity, how will they manage? So this
Exactly.
some sort of
I had the same conversation yesterday with one of the biggest fractional real estate company, and they were very frustrated with this. But thank you for sharing that information, and you feel that this is going to resolve. Excellent. I'll take some audience questions, okay? Because there's a lot of excitement for this, and I'm going to be sharing my screen for you. As you
yeah,
can
sure.
see here, there are some questions morely. So in the interest of time, we'll see how many questions we can take. So this comes from Prabhat. Prabhat is the founder CEO of Your Own Room. It's again a
Right.
very
Yeah.
yeah, very popular company. So Prabhat says investment in top companies with the current macroeconomic conditions. What kind of investment mix, equity, debt, convertibles do you expect to see in pre-series and Series A investments in Indian startups?
No, we and that really we also need to try and test it actually. So in terms of many, so on a early stage, we don't want to get into a convertible or anything. We will be purely going into equity. We'll be doing a valued round. But a little bit mature business, we might have to go to a convertible, a kind of a mix of a debt and equity, considering the situations right now. So for us also, the fund we have just launched, we also need to really go into the market test. But couple of transactions which we have come to us, I would say at least 40% of the transactions which are coming to us, they're coming up for convertibles
Got it.
or an
Excellent.
explored convertible.
Got it. Nice. So the next question is from Ashish Acharya, and he says that PropTech in India has been eons behind fintech and edtech in terms of VC attractiveness. Is it because it's seen as a cousin of the seemingly non-transparent real estate sector?
See, more than that, how many developers have been very a kind of forward thinking, where they wanted to start support a PropTech business. I mean, I'm
Hmm.
talking about not talking about in the last 3 to 4 years, pre post. I'm talking about a pre-COVID situation.
Hmm.
Post-COVID situation, there have been a lot of changes happen. So more than that, there is, so this I had seen in my personal experience also. I had seen when I came across, let's say, project management company,
You're
and I
right.
wanted to really test this company. What I will do is I will go back to, so the founders are fine, my promoters are fine, everyone is good to test it. I said, okay, fine, let's try to roll it out into the entity. Then I have to really get into the people onto the ground. They may not be welcoming this concept, or they
Hmm.
feel like this is something. So always I used to get, when I was in a traditional real estate company, if you go and ask to the people in the system to do some validation, you always get a negative feedback. I'd seen
Hmm.
this, I'd experienced this personally in my earlier organization. So
Got it. Got Got it. But it is set to change, isn't it? So,
it's set to change. It's set to change.
yeah,
A lot of things are getting change.
got it. Here is Ashish Gupta. He's the co-founder CEO of Fredbox. Now, Fredbox is one very prominent name in India, where they are doing hostel, college hostel management. Okay, entire university
Mm.
management software. He's saying tech startups selling in India versus selling in US has different revenue journey in. What is the evaluating criteria when discussing opportunities with Indian tech companies?
Indian tech company is the first thing, as you said, evaluating criteria. We need to understand the TAM, basically, the TAM which they're the targeted market, as well as the growth potential of this startup. So purely on basis of that, apart barring the founders, business model, etc. So we also need to understand a scalable model, a real scalable model business is something which will have the first priority.
So one of the things that we do as part of our offerings is non-American companies. We help them scale to US as well. We have a go-to-market US. So are you also looking for companies that are whose TAM is beyond India, like global
Yeah,
in a
obviously
way?
we will have we will be. Yeah.
Got it. Do you see more and more PropTech companies can go global, or do you think that PropTech by its very nature is very
No,
local and
it is very much possible, because in Colta we used to do a lot of projects in a lot of build to rent projects in London,
Hmm.
under the family. So I'd seen, even though we call Europe is very advanced and all those things, but your real property management softwares, or a facility management, or the hostel management, when you run a student's hostel sort of a thing, all the software, our softwares are much, I mean, much ahead. Many of the, I mean, in terms of, because here we have a lot of options. We are, I mean, like, if 10 people are, I mean, like, the kind of modules are more in India.
Got it.
So I think there is that scalability.
Got it. Next question is from Sanjeev. He's the founder of Propal. He says, "How do you think AI will play out in the Indian real estate space? Have you seen any AI players coming your way in your deal flows or the other?"
Not really, but what I have seen is, I had recently, I had seen a presentation given by Tanuj of Square Yards, where
Hmm.
he's changing the model of Square Yards using the AI and VR in gaming.
Hmm.
AI, VR in gaming, how you really see a project, basically through a gaming angle. You get into a projects and exploring the projects and all those things.
Right.
So I had seen it, that. So yeah, but at least on the analytical side, there can be a large play, but I have not really seen any real.
Yeah. So Tanuj, you're talking about Prop VR. That is AR. Okay.
So sorry, that is AR, basically. Yeah.
AAR. I'm
Augmented
talking about
reality. So he has done this augmented reality, but
yes.
also
Yes.
what he has done is also using some sort of an AI to predict the locations, and a little bit. So he has done little bit on that side also.
Got it. Okay, cool. So the answer is yes. There are emerging use cases for AI, right? Here is Sajay. Sajay is my favorite prop tech leader from India, from Anacity. So he says on the prop tech front, what would be more attractive to a VC investor like Murli? Do you want a B2B enterprise SaaS firm or B2C SaaS firm? This is the first question. Maybe you want to answer this.
See, as I start the entire segment, the depth of the segment is very is yet to test. So if
Hmm.
we are not in a position like I wanted to focus on this or I wanted to focus on this, because today
Hmm.
the importance is basically to find out a startup which has a scalability which can really scale it up, be it a B2B, be it a B2C SaaS setup.
Right.
You need to really go through the which is because this is not a matured sector so far. It's very
Hmm.
on its initial stages. Uh,
Hmm. Got it. Got it. Okay. And his second question is, given the current funding ecosystem, what are the metrics of evaluating either of them favorably? Is it pure net revenue or current profitability or path to profitability? Do you look at any of these metrics?
Current
Profitability. Yeah.
no, profitability is a metrics. I don't want to get into a business which will be bleeding forever. Obviously, so
Got it.
we need to see some sort of a signs of getting into profitable and the business, make the business really made viable. I mean, becoming viable.
Got it.
Uh, yeah.
Got it. So first is TAM. Okay, it has to be a big market,
It
and
has
then
to be. It has to be a big market.
market, and then it has to be viable as well. Okay. And then we have Rajiv Chabra. We're talking about fractional real estate, so he is also from that industry. He says, I think we already covered this. Why are builders slow in adopting PropTech? How technology and construction is going to a game changer? Can funding be a catalyst? I think you already answered this. So Rajiv, you have the answer in the first half of this conversation. Um, Mayur is from Nomad Gaon. Now, Mayur runs Nomad Gaon, which is hospitality based, like just like
Right.
Oyo, but here like hostels. And you have experience in actually investing in also shared hostels, co-living, and stuff like that. What future do you see for hospitality-focused PropTech and real estate sector in India? Do you think there will be large companies coming out in this segment?
Well, I have seen a couple of entities coming on a the vacation houses on a fractional ownership.
Right.
Came across something on that side, on a hospitality side. But I think so personally, if you ask me between the shared economy, I'm a very big advocate of student housing because I think that is something which still, if you go to many cities, many places, so for example, if you go to a city like Toronto, which is my hometown, there is no established hostel, so there is a lot of potential for an organized player because the number of students coming up every year, the number of students, I mean, the educational institutions coming, so that's kind of big scope compared to a co-living, and I'm not seen really a large player coming up and setting up I mean, like these are all like it is scattered across. So there are players focused on each micro market. So there is no a single large player playing that role. So I think that's a big opportunity, especially the university student housing sort of thing.
So what is your opinion on the? So you still feel bullish about the co-living industry in India because it
Not
has not.
co-living. I'm not talking about co-living. I'm talking about a pure student housing.
Oh, student housing. Okay, so there is a major difference in how the business, sustainable business, is for student housing over co-living
Yeah.
in
So
cities.
student housing. So because student housing, we know once a student is comes in, I know that the student is there for a year at least. So there is a uh, what do you call so when a bachelor student's coming, it's a 3 year 4 year the student is coming. So if I'm offering a service, the student can stay back for at least 3 years into that. So there
Hmm.
is in the co-living, the
Because I thought
co-living
Because I thought their budgets are small, their wallet size is small, versus a
but the
professional
value
who is.
is, but you are offering the service also. The service offerings also same. No, you are not offering them. So the per room setup cost is also less. Plus, many of the cases when you tie up with the university, most of the cases the university collect 4 months, 5 months rentals advance and paid. So your collection is very efficient. First of all, even though that is a small size, and the scalability is much large. So the per student, the number of the area used for a per student compared to a co-living, someone who is a working professional is much lesser for a student. So still, if you see from square feet perspective, the profitability is better in student housing.
Got it. Got it. Last question is from Kezia. Kezia is the CEO of Betterment. She posted a question where she says, with the understanding that some founders, particularly in the construction and real estate sectors, are tackling deep-rooted challenges with solutions, sometimes not aligned with traditional investment cycle, how does SPYRE access these opportunities? I do not know if you understood this. So considering the
No, I
potential for
didn't.
typical, maybe you could answer that.
No, suppose if it is so, we intend to invest in only the tech companies, not only the asset company, not only the asset side. That's very clear. So on a funding side, if today if there is a PropTech startup coming with a good valuation, of course I'm very keen to go into that, obviously, because value for money, that that's place. I think I'm not able to really understood what exactly. Uh,
Yeah. So
I mean,
what she means is, so let's tackle the second part of the question. Okay. So it says, considering the potential for typical VC investment leads to over dilution before these ventures can significantly impact the market, is SPYRE exploring alternative strategies to accommodate the development and market adoption timelines that
no,
some
we'll not.
innovations?
So I'll be looking out for good investment potential opportunities, but I don't want to be greed and see, because end of the day, if the founder interest is not there, or the founder interest is significantly diluted, I don't want to get into that business.
Got it. Got it. Excellent. I think that is all there is. There is Naveen Thomas who says, "Congrats, Murali." So we have some live comments coming
Thanks,
in.
Ravi.
So that is nice. With that, Murali, so how does the next maybe the last question here is, so all the listeners who are listening to you, all the founders who are listening to you, or the people who are still debating whether or not to join the race, join the bandwagon, what would be your message to the entire ecosystem in India?
No, what I feel is there's a right time. The timing is right. Now, now we are at 2023, 2030 is what the real estate industry is poised to move to a 3 trillion. We call a 3 trillion business, and the second, it's the largest business in India. The number of the largest employer, the industry is the largest. So I think there is a huge potential on this sector, and we are on a right timing to get onto it.
Excellent, Murli. With that, thank you so much for your time, and we continue to see your support on our platform also, because these questions also
Yeah,
come in.
sure, we'll do that.
Murli has already joined our platform as a VIP. Will be getting more and more investors onto our platform so that we can match make. Murli, we hope to see
Great.
more support from you on our platform.
Yeah, sure. Great talking to you. Have a great day.
Thank you so much, Murli. See you around.
Bye.